You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 13th of November. 3 Indian cities among world's 10 most polluted after Diwali. Concerns grow over survival of Afghan refugees returning from Pakistan. And Sri Lanka's 2024 budget sets ambitious revenue deficit targets. And now for all the details. 2 Indian cities joined New Delhi to be among the world's worst 10 for pollution on Monday morning, with smoke heavy in the air a day after Diwali, the annual Hindu festival of lights. Indian capital with AQI figure of 420 was joined by Kolkata and Mumbai with AQI 196 and 163, according to Swiss group IQ Air. While firecrackers were banned in New Delhi, many flouted rules, shooting up the level of pollutants in the air. As part of measures to control pollution, the Delhi government had earlier this week shut schools until 18th of November and is now mulling the imposition of odd-even rule for vehicles in the region.
कि जैसा दिल्ली सरकार ने कहा था कि फायर क्रैकर्स बर्न नहीं करने, लेकिन उस हिसाब से फायर क्रैकर्स बहुत ज़्यादा जलाए गए हैं दिल्ली में। जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ वहाँ भी मेरे को बहुत देखने को मिला ये, तो मैं परेशान होकर रात को सो नहीं पाया, फिर सुबह साइकिलिंग करने निकल गया।
And amid frayed diplomatic relations between New Delhi and Ottawa, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said Canada does not want a fight with India but wants to work constructively and positively with the South Asian nation. The ties between the two countries have turned sour after Trudeau linked Indian agents to the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Trudeau, responding to a media query on the matter, said that Canada had asked for cooperation with India on the matter as it has serious reasons to believe the Indian government could have been involved in Nijjar's killing. He further said, "We were disappointed when New Delhi arbitrarily revoked the diplomatic immunity of over 40 Canadian diplomats in India. The ties, which have strained by mutual recriminations, are unlikely to change in the next few months." And with winter setting in, the International Rescue Committee in Afghanistan has expressed deep concern about the survival of Afghan refugees arriving from Pakistan. The international NGO, which is providing healthcare, psychosocial support and hygiene services to thousands of Afghan returnees arriving at camps, has said that the country, which itself is under severe economic crisis, cannot afford to absorb thousands of families which have been kicked out by Pakistan. Highlighting extreme difficult situation in the upcoming winter season, an official said with no support network and financial aid, conditions are going to deteriorate rapidly.
The humanitarian needs at the Torkham crossing are immense. We've seen up to 200,000 people arriving since the start of October, and many people are arriving from Pakistan with nothing but the clothes on their back. Many people have not lived here in Afghanistan for decades, and so are arriving with no support network. They have no money, and they're forced to sleep at the Torkham crossing in tents or just under the open skies.
Well, Pakistan is home to over 4 million Afghan migrants and refugees, and Afghans make up the largest portion of migrants. Pakistan government has brushed off calls from the UN and Western embassies to reconsider the expulsion ban, saying Afghans have been involved in terror attacks and in crimes that undermine security. And in a symbolic protest over hike in electricity prices and other unfair taxes being imposed on them, locals in POK threw their power bills in water bodies. A report. Hundreds of people in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir recently threw their power bills in a river in a symbolic protest against frequent hike in electricity prices despite facing load shedding daily for hours. There has been growing unrest over record high inflation and unfair taxes being imposed, but the Pakistan government has continued to ignore the people's plight. The region produced around 4,000 megawatts of electricity, but they're not given any benefits.
इस खत्ते से बेपनाह किस्म की जो है वो पोटेंशियल बिजली हासिल की जा रही है, लेकिन यहाँ के लोगों को लोड शेडिंग जो है ना जी वो ज़्यादा हो रही है और ज़्यादा चार्जेस भी उनसे लिए जा रहे हैं। बुनियादी तौर पे कम से कम हम 4,000 मेगावाट बिजली यहाँ से पैदा करते हैं और 400 मेगावाट पूरी रियासत के लोगों की ज़रूरत है, 24 घंटे तक वो न दी जाए।
Locals accuse Pakistan government only gives assurances, but there has been zero development, while Islamabad continues to exploit the natural resources of the occupied region. Moving on, Sri Lanka's government on Monday announced a smaller than expected expansion in its budget for 2024 while projecting a significant jump in revenues, crucial to keep its IMF bailout program afloat. The government has set a budget deficit target of $8.73 billion or 9.1% of GDP. The total tax revenue is also projected at 4.1 trillion rupees, with the biggest jump coming from the goods and services tax receipts. President Ranil Wickremesinghe told the parliament this is a budget to build the foundation of Sri Lanka's recovery. We cannot continue as people who depend on others. Sri Lanka's economy contracted 7.8% in 2022, forcing it to default on its foreign debt. It must meet strict targets set by the IMF to help drive a slow recovery in an economy set to contract 2% this year. The central bank expects growth of 3.3% in 2024 when the country will hold presidential elections. And a special event was organized at the Police Canine Training Center in Nepal's capital Kathmandu to honor dogs on the occasion of Kukur Tihar festival on Sunday. Take a look. Police officials in Nepal's capital of Kathmandu awarded medals and treats to dogs on Sunday as part of Kukur Tihar celebrations, the second day of the 5-day Tihar festival, during which animals are worshipped across the Himalayan nation. At the Central Dog Training School, dogs were felicitated for their contribution to maintaining security and helping officials solve cases. The event included competitions and obedience displays. The dogs were also offered special feast and worshipped with vermilion powder and flowers.
I believe that dogs are the most friendliest and the loyal animals on the planet, and today is Kukur Tihar, and it is a festival that we celebrate in Nepal to respect dogs for their loyalty and friendship and helping all the human beings all around the world. And I believe that every country should learn from Nepal to respect dogs and treat them with kindness.
People across the Hindu-majority nation also honor their dogs with baths, garlands and special treats to mark Kukur Tihar. Devout Hindus consider the dog to be the messenger of Yamraj, the god of death, and believe that worshipping the animal makes him happy. And hundreds of Hindu devotees thronged the banks of the sacred river Ganga in the holy town of Haridwar to take holy dip to mark Somvati Amavasya, the new moon day that falls on Monday, considered very auspicious among the Hindus. On the occasion, devotees also observe special fast, make offerings and perform rituals for the salvation of their departed ancestors. According to the Hindu epic of Mahabharata, Bhishma, the son of river Ganga, narrated the significance of Somvati Amavasya to Yudhishthir, the eldest of the 5 Pandav brothers. Bhishma said that whoever takes a bath in the sacred rivers on this day would be prosperous, disease-free and free from grief and sorrow.
स्नान के पश्चात अश्वत्थ अर्थात पीपल के वृक्ष की 108 प्रदक्षिणा करके जो धागा बांध देते हैं वो अपने आप को मोक्ष प्राप्त कर लेते हैं। और स्नान का इतना अधिक महत्व बताया गया है कि स्नान के पश्चात मौन रहकर स्नान और स्नान के पश्चात अपने कुल पुरोहित या ब्राह्मण को दान करें। तो जितने दान की वस्तुएं आप करेंगे उतने वर्ष, उतने सहस्त्र वर्षों तक, उतने कल्प तक आप स्वर्ग में वास करते हैं, ऐसा पुण्य फल इसका बताया गया है।
Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.